There comes a moment in your life when a message, a lesson, or a calling does to arrive when you want it, but exactly when you are able to carry it. Life is not withholding answers from you. It is preparing you to understand them. What you're waiting for is not hiding. It is becoming aligned with the person you are slowly becoming. You think you are waiting for the right time, but time is waiting for the right you. And that is why this video has appeared now, not by accident, not by coincidence, but because something within you has quietly grown, ready to hear what you once could not receive. Life never reveals its truth in one moment. Its timing is quiet, almost secret, and it hides answers the same way the earth hides its seeds beneath the ground, waiting for the right season to touch them. And just as a seed cannot be forced to sprout, before its roots are strong enough, you cannot be handed certain blessings, certain roles, or certain truths until you have grown a foundation capable of holding them. People often assume they are ready just because they want something deeply, but wanting is not the same as being prepared. Desire is only the spark. Readiness is the firewood that actually keeps the flame alive. There are answers in your life that would destroy you if you received them too early. There are responsibilities you pray for that would crush you if they arrived before you learned how to carry your own weight. You might be asking for relationships while still struggling to love yourself. You might be begging for success without yet understanding discipline. You might want freedom when you haven't learned how to make wise choices. Life is not punishing you when it makes you wait. It is protecting you from collapsing under a blessing you're not yet mature enough to maintain. We tend to imagine that fulfillment comes when our circumstances change, but fulfillment actually comes when we change into someone who can handle those circumstances. So life delays, not to frustrate you, but to shape the deeper parts of your identity. It sends you challenges that look like setbacks, but are actually training. It keeps things out of reach, not because they are impossible, but because they are still dangerous in the wrong hands. A king is crowned only after he learns how to serve. A teacher teaches only after they have made countless mistakes. A leader guides only after being humbled by life. The weight of what we ask for requires us to become bigger inside. If life were to hand you every dream right now, could you sustain it? Could you manage the chaos that comes with what you think you want? Success is not peaceful. Relationships are not effortless. Opportunities come with pressure, and recognition comes with responsibility. Many people pray for a door to open without realizing that they must become emotionally, spiritually, and mentally capable of walking through it. If the door opened today, would you walk in with wisdom or still carry the same insecurities that sabotage everything you touch? This is why answers take time. Life waits for the soul to mature. You can rush goals with force, but you cannot rush wisdom. Wisdom takes pain, patience, mistakes, and silence. Growth doesn't announce itself. It happens in discomfort. It happens when people misunderstand you, when life disappoints you, when things don't happen on your schedule. Those are the seasons in which the soul grows, able to hold what it once could only desire. You are becoming someone who can sustain what you dream of. You're not being denied. You're being developed. Every delay is strengthening a part of you that success will depend on. Every closed door is preparing you to walk through a better one. Every unanswered prayer is reshaping the person who will someday receive it. Life withholds its answers until you are mature enough not just to take them, but to use them wisely. And when the maturity finally arrives, it feels like everything happens all at once, as if the universe had been waiting behind the curtain. It wasn't waiting to help you. It was waiting for you to become able to help yourself. So when you think nothing is happening, something is. When you think life is silent, it isn't. When you think you're being ignored, you are actually being protected from getting lost in what you're not yet prepared for. Your task is not to demand answers before their time, but to grow into someone who can carry them without being crushed. For when the soul is truly ready, life hides nothing. We often make the mistake of believing that life is waiting on us to prove how badly we want something. We try to show our passion, our ambition, our hunger, as if desire alone could open doors. But what truly shapes destiny is not how loudly we want it, but how deeply we are being shaped to receive it. Every hardship you endured, every delay that has tested your patience, every silence that made you wonder if life forgot you, has not been punishment. It has been preparation, working beneath the surface of your personality, chiseling away what is weak, sharpening what is needed, and building the version of you that your future will require. Nothing you go through is accidental. Even the things you think are meaningless are carving you into someone capable of carrying your own path. Think about the moments when everything felt like it was falling apart. You may have believed you were losing your way, but those were the moments that stripped you of illusions, of false beliefs, of reckless naivety. You could not have grown introspection without pain. You could not have found the resilience without struggle. You could not have learned patience without waiting. You could not have learned strength if life had handed you only comfort. Growth is built in the unseen places where nothing seems to be working. Those are the seasons that sculpt character. We imagine destiny as a reward we finally receive, but it is really the outcome of who we've become in the dark. Life is making sure that the person you are today does not ruin what you're meant to hold tomorrow. It is shaping your reactions, teaching you humility, exposing your weaknesses, forcing you to face parts of yourself you would rather ignore. It confronts you with failure so that pride does not destroy you when success arrives. It keeps certain people away to show you that your worth is not dependent on their approval. It closes doors that your ego wants so that your soul isn't trapped behind them. That is not cruelty. That is wisdom working through experience. Most people only see the external events. They blame circumstances, other people, and time for their suffering. Yet everything is molding something within. The world around you is simply a mirror reflecting areas that still need growth. When life disappoints you, it is pointing to expectations that are still fragile. When someone betrays you, it is revealing what trust truly means. When you lose something you once clung to, life is teaching you what is not meant to define you. Nothing that transforms you is ever wasted. Every difficulty teaches you how to stand without fear. Every delay teaches you how to endure without losing hope. These are not obstacles blocking your path. They are the path. The soul is not polished by comfort. You do not become ready for your destiny by sitting in ease. Readiness is born from the exact discomfort you try to escape. You are being refined by life the way fire refines metal, removing what is impure, strengthening what can withstand pressure, and forming what can hold value. You think the struggle is delaying you, but the struggle is creating you. You think the silence means nothing is happening, but silence is where the deepest changes occur. You think the wait is wasting your time, but time is doing what you cannot do on your own. Your destiny does not respond to impatience. It responds to maturity. That is why life doesn't bend to your schedule. It bends to your evolution. When your inner world becomes aligned with what you've been seeking, the outer world changes as if it always belonged to you. The doors open not because you forced them, but because you became worthy of walking through them. You do not attract what you dream of. You attract what you have grown capable of maintaining. So do not rush what is shaping you. Do not curse the lessons that are building your strength. What you call delay is the exact process that will make you unshakable. Destiny is not waiting to bless you, it is waiting to recognize you. Before the mind can understand the direction of your life, something deeper within you already knows where you are going. Long before your thoughts begin to question, compare, or doubt, the unconscious has chosen a path that is slowly guiding you, one experience at a time. Most people think they are making decisions from logic alone, but logic is only a thin layer on top of a deeper intelligence. The ego plans, it calculates, it dreams of control, yet it rarely sees more than what is immediately in front of it. The unconscious, however, sees the entire landscape. It doesn't rush. It doesn't panic. And it doesn't reveal the whole picture at once. It leads you through what you need to encounter, not what you wish to experience. This is why life sometimes feels confusing, even unfair. On the surface, it seems like things aren't going according to your plan. But beneath the surface, they are going according to your truth. You might want success, but your deeper self knows you need humility first. You might want love, but your deeper self knows you must understand your own value before you can share it without fear. You might be searching for your purpose, but your deeper self is quietly strengthening the parts of you that will someday carry that purpose without breaking. The unconscious does not hurry you forward because it knows that growth cannot be rushed. It will not hand you anything before you can hold it in. Integrity. There is an intelligence within you that organizes your challenges as carefully as your blessings. It does not give you pain randomly. It gives you pain to show what must be healed. It sends you disappointment not to punish you, but to reveal where you are still depending on illusion. It takes away what you cling to when clinging is shrinking your soul. It shakes apart what is false so that you can be rebuilt with truth. The ego sees these experiences as loss. The unconscious sees them as necessary steps toward becoming whole. You are not just preparing for your future is preparing you. When something doesn't happen the way you expected, it is not a mistake in your story. It is your deeper self refusing to let your life be built on something unstable. The unconscious does not want comfort, it wants authenticity. It doesn't care about convenience, it cares about transformation. So it places you where you must face yourself. It lets you encounter your insecurities so that you do not carry them into what you are meant to build. It lets you feel uncertainty so that you learn how to stand without clinging to control. Hardships are not interruptions. They are direction. What you call waiting is actually alignment. You might not realize it, but every quiet season of your life is shaping something within you that your ego would never choose to work on. The ego wants results. The unconscious wants depth. The ego wants progress it can measure. The unconscious wants growth that cannot be undone. That is why your path will make sense only when you look back and see how each struggle taught you something your future needed. You will see how the rejection guided you to where you were valued. How the failure humbled you but didn't defeat you. How the loneliness taught you that you were not empty, only undiscovered. Your destiny isn't built by wishes. It is built by becoming someone who can live out what they desire with awareness, strength, and clarity. And your deeper self is always working toward that, even when your mind resists the process. You are not lost just because you don't understand the direction. You are being led by a wisdom that does not need your permission, only your willingness to trust. So do not fear the unpredictability of life. The very path you question is the same path that knows you better than you know yourself. There are moments in life when everything seems strangely timed. You meet someone unexpectedly who changes your direction. An opportunity appears just when you had almost given up, or a lesson arrives at the exact moment you finally understand it. These moments feel accidental, but they are not accidents. They are expressions of something deeper, aligning your inner state with what is meant to unfold externally. Nothing truly meaningful happens randomly. It happens when your inner world reaches the right temperature. Like metal heated just enough to be shaped without breaking. People often try to chase opportunities with impatience, thinking that force will make things happen faster. But the truth is that you cannot chase what has not yet matured within you. You can knock on every door, but if your inner world is not prepared to walk through it, the door will remain closed, no matter how loudly you knock. And if it does open prematurely, it will expose your weaknesses rather than support your growth. Life waits for you to reach a state where what you receive matches who you have become. That is why the right moment arrives only when your inner maturity reaches a point where you can use the opportunity instead of being overwhelmed by it. Think of how you only understand certain words long after you first heard them. You might have read a sentence or listened to advice years ago, but it didn't reach you until you had lived enough to grasp its meaning. Understanding requires experience. You hear the truth when you're ready to understand it. In the same way, you receive opportunity when you're ready to handle them, relationships when you're ready to nurture them, and success when you're ready to sustain it. Life doesn't reward desire. It responds to alignment. This alignment is not something the mind can create instantly. It comes through the refining of character, through patience, insight, and self-awareness. You learn who you are through the mistakes that reveal your blind spots. You learn what you need through the disappointments that strip away illusion. You learn what matters through loss. And you learn what is possible through resilience. Only then do you become someone who naturally attracts what is meant for you, not through force, but through authenticity. That is the essence of alignment. Your outer circumstances begin to mirror your inner evolution. When you are filled with insecurity, you attract situations that highlight it. When you act from fear, you encounter more fear disguised as protection. But when you begin to value yourself, life presents people who reflect that value. When you cultivate patience, life introduces opportunities that require steady hands. When you develop clarity, confusion in your surroundings begins to dissolve. You don't change life by demanding it to move. You change life by becoming someone capable of moving with it. Then you find that doors open without being pushed. Answers appear without being forced. And the right people find you without effort. Not because you waited passively, but because you grew actively. It may be tempting to believe that fate will do all the work, but fate doesn't replace responsibility. It collaborates with growth. Alignment is not about sitting still, expecting miracles to land at your feet. It is about becoming intentional, learning from what challenges you and adjusting your inner world so that it no longer contradicts what you are reaching for. Some people want love while they still carry resentment, want success while avoiding discipline, want change without changing themselves. They search for miracles externally, unaware that miracles are responses to inner readiness. When you become aligned, life feels less like a battle and more like a conversation. You begin to notice patterns in your experiences, echoing lessons that finally make sense. You start to recognize the timing of events not as chance, but as communication. You no longer feel desperate because you understand that what is meant for you will not need to be stolen or begged for. You begin to trust the rhythm of your own becoming. You stop rushing, not because you are passive, but because you are convinced of the deeper order guiding you forward. So when life feels still, do not assume nothing is happening. When your plans are delayed, do not assume you are being denied. When something you want doesn't arrive yet, it simply means your inner world is still catching up to your future. The moment your inner state truly matches what you seek, the world around you will not withhold it for a single second. You do not receive life's gifts simply because you want them. You receive them when you have become someone who can live in harmony with them. This is why many people chase success but cannot hold it, ask for love but cannot nurture it, desire freedom but misuse it. They imagine that getting what they want will change them, but it is the opposite. Only by changing yourself do you become able to receive and sustain what you desire. Desire is a spark, but the person you have become is the fuel. Without the right inner state, blessings turn into burdens, opportunities become disasters, and relationships crumble under the weight of inner contradictions. Many believe that destiny is something that arrives to them as though it will fix everything they have refused to face. But life does not hand out rewards to escape from yourself. It brings answers only when you have grown enough to treat them as responsibilities, not escapes. If you seek love to fill a void, you will only carry that void into the relationship and demand others to suffer for wounds they did not create. If you pursue wealth to feel powerful, you will eventually be afraid of losing what you think defines you. If you chase recognition to feel worthy, you will forever need applause to avoid the emptiness of your own silence. This is why life withholds certain things until you have grown beyond the fears and insecurities that would poison them. You are shaped through patience, conflict, and introspection so that what once would have controlled you becomes what you can now manage without losing yourself. Growth does not give you what you want. It makes you into someone who no longer needs to prove anything through what you receive. When you become ready, you no longer seek a blessing for validation, but for purpose. You no longer chase opportunities out of desperation, but out of alignment. You are no longer driven by fear of missing out, but by recognition of what truly resonates with who you are. In that state, timing does not frustrate you. You do not panic at what others have or rush to compete. You understand that nothing meant for you can be taken by anyone because it cannot belong to a version of you that has not yet matured. What is meant for you waits for you to become the version of yourself who can hold it with grace instead of fear. People compare their paths endlessly. They envy what others have without understanding what it cost them internally. They see the glory, not the growth that preceded it. They see the result, not the person who survived the storms required to sustain it. This is why comparing yourself to another is meaningless. You do not know what they had to become to receive what they have. And you cannot duplicate someone's life because you cannot duplicate their transformation. Your path is tailored to you. The challenges you receive are not random punishments, but personalized tests shaping precisely what your future requires. Your failures are not defeats. They are redirections that reveal limitations you must outgrow. Your heartbreaks are not curses. They teach you how to love without losing yourself. Your setbacks are not signs of rejection. They build resilience so your destiny does not break you when it arrives. Life does not delay what you are ready for. It delays what you would destroy or be destroyed by if it came too soon. When you finally become someone who is internally prepared, something remarkable happens. You stop seeking proof that you are worthy. You stop trying to force doors to open. You stop begging life to hurry. Instead, you become the kind of person who walks with patience, certainty, and clarity. You are no longer trying to receive the blessing. You are already carrying the posture required to maintain it. And when that inner readiness is complete, the external world responds as though it was waiting for you all along. Life does not reward desire. It rewards readiness.